Hi, my name is Eric Ralston. I'm the lead software developer for Shadowrun Awakened, a community-driven effort to develop a free-to-play massively multiplayer online game based on the Shadowrun pen and paper role-playing game. This video is going to go over how to get a hold of our source code hosted out on the website SourceForge so you can get started developing this game. The easiest way to get started is to look in the tutorial for getting started on our wiki. Starting from our homepage, you'd click Wiki, scroll down to Getting Involved, How do I get started? The How do I get started tutorials page shows you a comprehensive tutorial for every type of developer in Shadowrun, from someone who wants to make models, to someone who wants to write code, to someone who just wants to write missions. So if you're an artist or software developer, you'll be interested in how to get the code to make your own custom UDK client. So, following the instructions outlined, the critical ones covered in this tutorial are how to get a hold of the Unreal Development Kit, how to download the code, and then in a future video we will show how to customize UDK install. To get the Unreal Development Kit is probably the easiest part. All you need to do is go to udk.com or search UDK on Google, and then click the big blue Download UDK button. Here you can see the latest version is the June 2011 UDK. Until December 2011, or potentially beyond, we will be using the June 2011 version. Here you can see it's available under Download Latest Release. However, in the future, it'll probably be under previous versions, as in future months they'll probably release future editions. Simply click on the link and it will start a regular download of an executable. That executable runs as a regular standard wizard. I have already prepared a copy to demonstrate for you. Should come down with the default name UDK install 2011-06 beta. All you need to do is simply run it, and it will run a regular Windows Wizard installer. The only real choice you'll have to make is where do you want it installed. I recommend using the default location that puts it just on the C drive. Takes quite a while to start up. Unpacking things, getting ready. Run, you want it to happen. You can see the UDK logo coming up. Yes, we agree. So simply choose this location here. After you click install, the process will automatically do the rest, so I don't think we really need to go over it. Once it's installed in the default location, I recommend making if you're running Windows 7 or Vista, I recommend making a shortcut so you can easily access it. But first, let's get there first. So the default location is C, UDK, and then a marker for the year the year and month that it was in. I recommend whenever you install to make a copy and name it UDK install clean. That way you'll always have the original files to fall back to. That'll be important for when you use steps and further steps to customize that installation, because when you're developing, you'll be making constant changes to this directory, and you'll always want a backup to go back to. To get a hold of our code, you'll see the next step in our tutorial is to download our development code from the development branch of the Subversion repository. Subversion is a product that's used for code hosting on a server. To see our code in a read-only view, you can go to the top menu of our website and click on the code link. I will open a new tab. Here you can see, as hosted on sourceforge.net, a read-only version of our code. You can see that constant contributors like myself, eRalston84, and Noah, who goes by the handle EggMonkey on SourceForge, are always making constant changes. The easiest way to get all of the code is to actually use a Subversion client to connect to the server and bring it down as a whole directory. One of my favorite, and what I believe to be the easiest to use Subversion client is called Tortoise SVN. It's available from tortoisesvn.net. Simply go there, click the Downloads tab, and then choose 32 or 64-bit depending on your operating system. Don't worry, you can't mess up. If you try to run the wrong version, it will probably just not work. So relax. I install 64-bit because I run Windows 7 64-bit. Again, it's a standard Windows installer. I don't think there's anything exotic about it. The thing that is strange is it's not a general client like you would think a file transfer, an FTP client or something like that. What it does is, so here I'm going to go to my C drive where I like to put my files. It adds things to the right-click menu of Windows that enables you to interact with Subversion repositories. So, to pull something down, what you do is you go to the directory that you want it to be in. You right-click and you do svn checkout. In the checkout dialog that pops up, you put in the web address for the code that you want to pull down. Here it already knows the location, but because you don't, what you need to do is simply look in the tutorial. The tutorial will give you this link to the Shadowrun MMO project's Subversion account on SourceForge. You simply enter it into that directory, and then I recommend clicking on the ... to bring up the repository browser. The repository browser will enable you to, instead of downloading the entire repository, just download the current branch that you're interested in. In revision control systems, a branch is basically just a directory that contains interrelated code that's in versions. The main development branch is called SRA UDK development. So you want to click on that and make sure the bar up here updates to say SRA UDK development. This contains all the files that you need to get started with a single client installation and our custom server, and things like our custom database. If you're an artist, you may want to refine your search further by clicking on the UDK directory. The UDK directory contains only code relevant to Unreal Development Kit. It does not contain code for our custom database or our custom server, and only things that modify Unreal. If you're only working with Unreal, you only need the UDK directory. So again, once you have SRA UDK development and optionally the UDK directory, you can click OK. The second box, the checkout directory, so the first box is where is it coming from, the second box is where is it going. You can just simply put in the default name if you prefer. I actually do use the default name of SRA UDK development for mine. Or you can do, if you clicked on just UDK like I did here, it'll use just UDK. If you use just UDK, I recommend doing something like calling it _development to signify that it's part of the development branch. You may one day have more than one branch on your computer, so you'd want to look at if it's the development branch or the release branch, as in the version that's out in the world. Once you're done with that, you just click OK. Another dialog will come up that goes over downloading all of the code, and we can take a look at it. So the version that I've already prepared and the actual directory that I work on is called SRA UDK development on my C drive, and it contains all the code that we need to get started, including the UDK directory, which contains all the code for modifying the Unreal Development Kit. So over the course of the project, there will be changes made to the code. Changes by myself, changes by Noah, other changes. So to pull down changes from the server, you don't need to do this process every time. What you need to do is something called an update. So you can do an update by, on the parent folder, right-clicking on it, and you will have the option now to do an SVN update. SVN update causes this little dialog to pop up, and it goes out to the server, checks for changes, and pulls down any files that have changed. So in this case, it looks like Noah has made some additional changes since last time I updated. So 3 files were pulled down from the server and updated on my computer. When it's done, it says completed. I simply click OK, and now the files on my computer are changed. We couldn't go into more detail about how Tortoise SVN works, but if you really want to get into it, simply go back to the Tortoise SVN site. Under their support section, there's an FAQ. Also across in the top nav that goes directly to the support docs. You need very little knowledge of Tortoise aside from checking out and updating if you're an artist. So I have confidence that artists out there will have no problem. If you do have a problem, I would recommend going to our forums. So you can go on the main nav forums and going into the development in the development group the Unreal Development Kit forum and starting a new topic, or looking for an existing topic that says UDK help or someone else's problem using the UDK. Obviously, you'll need to register on our forums beforehand, but if you found this video, I have confidence you're probably interested in joining the project. So, we've gone over what our Subversion repository is, how to connect to it with a client, and how to download the code, along with some basic familiarity with our code base so far. In future videos, I will demonstrate what you're going to do with that code and how you're going to help make Shadowrun Awakened.